Hello and welcome to Music at the Piano. In today's video we will go over pages 100 to 101 of Mayron Cole's Older Beginner Level 2 textbook, and I'm going to do something a little bit extra at the end. I realized in the second to last video that there is a little exercise that you could actually modify if you wanted to start doing some of your own improvisation, start developing some skills in improvisation. So I'll put that in at the end of this video. Also, in the previous two videos, I went over the names of the line notes and the space notes in the treble staff. So today I want to go over the names of the line notes and the space notes in the bass staff in case you find some music that you want to learn that includes more notes than we've covered yet in this textbook. So in the bass staff, the two dots indicate which line is bass F, and that's the F right below middle C. So if this was middle C, it would be that F there. And then if you do the rest of it in thirds and skips, like F up a skip is A, and A up a skip is middle C. And that's the same middle C that you get in the treble staff, only it's usually put a little bit closer to the bass staff. Down a third from F, down a skip from F in the alphabet is D, and down a skip from D is B, and down a skip from B is G, and down a skip from G is E. So it helps if you can say the alphabet in skips like A, C, E, G, B, D, F, A, C, E, G, B, D, F, or backwards G, F, E, D, C, B, A. If you're doing what we use in America is the alphabet letter names. I know some countries use solfege, so that this is do, and this would be la, and this would be fa. So if you are living in one of those countries, try to ignore this. So the ledger line below the bass staff is E, the first line is G, the second line is B, the middle line is D, the line that the bass clef sign identifies is F, the top line is A, and the ledger line here is C. From the bottom to the top, the space notes are A, C, E, G. A, C, E, G. So there's that. Now, we're learning a piece called The First Snowfall. We're having a snowfall today. It's not our first one. It's supposed to be rain and snow, and usually we'll start with one and turn into the other, and it can go either way. One important thing to notice is that the left hand is made up of the interval of a fifth on C and G. Let me turn the volume up. I was practicing late last night. C and G, and then your thumb moves up one note to make a sixth on C and A. And that's your entire left hand. Which leads us to an interesting project a little bit later when we get to rhythm. The right hand plays, I think we go up to B, because that's the highest note that she's drilling so far in her method here is B. So we're in C major, but we're playing the right hand with thumb on E because of the notes. It makes more sense fingering wise to do that. We're playing in on these five notes. So right hand finger 3 plays G, down a third, up a third, down a third, up a fourth, down a fourth, up a fourth, down a fourth, up a third, down a third, up a third, down a third, up a fourth. And that line happens here, and it happens there. Then we have this pattern of from here to A to there is a second B, down a second, down a second, down a third. And that happens here, and it happens here, and it happens here, and it happens here. Then the other notes to play, you're going to just, like you're a lumberjack doing a log rolling contest, just collapse this knuckle joint and roll over your thumb to play finger 2 on D so that you can go back to play E with your thumb. And if you relax your hand and roll like that, you won't even need to do any of the tuck under something over that she's talking about. Because you won't bring your thumb back. Don't bring your thumb out. Just leave your thumb there, relax your hand, play 2. It can be like this. 1, 2, 1. That's the easiest way to do it. and then at the end you have a blocked chord. So this is very much a piece that uses the same musical ideas over and over again. These 4 bars is section A, phrase A. These 4 bars is phrase A prime or A1 because this 2 bars is different than these 2 bars. And then we have a phrase extension where she takes this measure and combines it with a new idea here and then repeats it here. Actually, it's not a new idea. She takes these 2 bars and plays them 2 more times and then has an ending chord. That's a phrase extension. He's taken an idea and extend, so what would be a 4-bar phrase now becomes an 8-bar phrase. But it's not a new phrase all of its own because it's just repeating the end of this 4-bar phrase. So the exercise we could do is you could clap, or you could play the left hand and tap the right hand rhythm, which would be kind of interesting. I'm going to try it and see if I can do it. I would recommend you try it slowly and try it a few times to get the combination of the 2 hands going without having to worry about the notes in the right hand. You can just master the rhythm of the right hand while you're playing your repetitive left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and rest, 4. 1 and 2 and rest, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and rest, 4. 1, 2, hold, 4. 1 and 2 and rest, 4. 1, 2, hold, 4. 1 and 2 and rest, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. Then I would recommend that you learn the right hand by itself. I would do the right hand slowly. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would recommend getting very comfortable with that before try putting your hands together. And now we're going to do the phrase extension hands together. Oh, but before that, if you need to remind yourself to go to finger 4 there, you can put some reminders in if you need them. If you don't need them, don't put them in. Finger 5 is here, and 5 is there. And then 3 will be here, and you use 4 on the A and 5 on the B. The rest of it is pretty self-explanatory. And as time goes by, hopefully it'll be easier for you to remember the fingering and not have to put it in to remind yourself. But I don't mind if you have to remind yourself to start with. So we're going to put this last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars, hands together, finger 5 on the B. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To my mind, this is a very gentle snowfall, not a blizzard. Doesn't sound like a blizzard. Okay, then we're going to do from A prime to the end. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the thirds and fourths, I use the gentle rocking arm motion. That's easier than trying to do it with your fingers like this. Just leave your fingers close to the keys, firm fingertips, operate your fingers as a unit for the metacarpal phalangeal joints, and then rock a little back and forth like you're opening a doorknob. So here's the whole piece. It starts off medium loud and descends at the end to pianissimo. We'll see if I remember to do that. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3. To be honest, I don't think I did a very good job of that, so that'll make it easy for you to do a better job of slowing down and getting softer. Now, the little piece extra that I promised you is on a piece of paper somewhere back here. So in a previous video on page 97, we were just playing this rhythm on a C or an E or a G, but it occurs to me that you could pick any 5 notes. So if you want to do C to E, F, G, and you could put them together in any way you want. So we're going to do this one in C major and this one in A minor. So you can copy this rhythm, but make up your own pitches for it. And I'm not going to say that my pitches are going to be wonderful, but if you want to sound like you're doing something that you know what you're doing, I would end on a C. If you're going to start on a C, then end on a C, and I would make G on that note, because G is the 5th note, and that'll sound like you're halfway done, and this will sound like you're all the way done. And other than that, you can do anything you want. It should sound pretty good. 1, 2, here I go. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. That was kind of boring. I'm going to start on G. I'll still end on G here and still end on C here, but I'll try to be more creative. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's not a lot of notes, you can't do a whole lot with it, but it's a good place to start. Now this one I'm going to do in A minor. So the 5th note of A minor is E. That's a good stopping point there because it's a halfway feel. It would be a half cadence. It feels like you're not quite done, and then I'd end on A there. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. Yeah, and actually that sounds like the first half of a 2-phrase part. So let me see if I can do something different here to sound more final there. 1, ready, go. Yeah, one more time. 1, ready, go. that 3-2-1 is a good way to end. So if you want, if you're going to a ending point, the third note going to the second note to the first note is always a fine ending. So you could play around with that and start developing your own abilities to create melodies. Have fun.